When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
The relationships in the clubhouse and the way that the people get along. I think that is the most important thing. I think culture, winning in St. Louis and San Francisco and LSU. I think the culture in those three clubhouses were all the same. I think the players trusted each other. We trusted ownership. We trusted management. We trusted the coaches. The one similarity in all three of those teams was that. And we loved each other. We wanted each other to succeed more than we wanted ourselves to succeed.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Sean French here with another episode of the podcast, Determined Society. Today, I have a very special guest with us, guys. A guy that I played ball with back at LSU who just embodies the mental presence of any athlete you could possibly imagine. This man, Ryan Theriot, they called him the Riot. And I'm going to tell you something. He was a riot on the field. He was a riot in the locker room. But more than anything, he was a riot in his fucking mind. And anything that this gentleman said he was going to do, he did. I watched this guy his senior year have this hitting streak in the Division I baseball that really hasn't been touched. And it was a special thing. And we'll definitely dive into that. His multiple world championships, won in 2011 with the Cardinals, and then right thereafter in 2012 with the San Francisco Giants. Let's not forget his amazing national championship with our beloved LSU Tigers, of the image of Ryan Theriot crossing the plate against Stanford in the year 2000 and chucking his helmet in the air, creating an epic moment for LSU fans to admire and enjoy forever. He is a father, he is a husband, and he is the owner of Traction Performance, where they train the highest athletes in the world, and Hudco Roofing. Welcome, Ryan Theriot, to the show. What's up, brother?
Hey, Sean. Appreciate you having me, man. Just fired up to be on this thing, bro. Let's do it.
Dude, I'm fired up, man. It's good to see your face. I'm going to tell you something. I didn't know what I was going to get. I'm used to seeing some good flip, bro. Big league flip.
Yep.
And you're cleaned up, man.
Well, I went, so the hair was super long, and then I got COVID. Mm-hmm. No big deal. I was good, but I didn't feel great. So my hair was all in my face, and I went in the bathroom, no joke, shaved a mullet. So you can kind of still see a little bit of it.
I see the mullet.
So I went huge, like short on the side, long in the back. And I thought it was sexy, and I loved it. My kids didn't think it was very funny, and so I ended up just cutting it all short. So that's what I'm going with right now. As long as
listen, man, if anybody can pull off a mullet, it's you. What did Jonna think about it?
She didn't mind it. I mean, listen, bro, let's be honest. She's in this thing for the long haul now.
She has been.
Yeah, she's in it. So she was just like, whatever, dude, just do your thing. She probably liked it because it looked so bad, like no chicks were gonna hit on me, right? So
yeah, totally,
it's a good thing. Yeah,
I think it's a little, and since you've cut it, it's probably a little less Matt Stairs-ish.
Very true. Yeah. It's probably more like right now. It's probably more Tom Cruise than anything.
I was thinking Tom Cruise. Well, you're much better looking than Tom Cruise. So
and dangerous like Tom Cruise too, and all the 007s and stuff. Yeah. So it's all good, man. No, I appreciate you having me on, dude. I'm fired up to rap for a little while.
Hell yeah, man. It's an honor and a privilege of mine, and I'm super excited to tell the world more about Ryan Theriot. But for those of the people that are going to be watching this on YouTube, you will see that Ryan Theriot is in the best dugout in the United States of America, LSU at Alex Box Stadium. Man, there's some good memories there. Obviously, we played in the Alex Box Stadium prior to this one. But man, some amazing moments.
Oh yeah, now this place is special. This is, you can see it. I'll pull this around. I'm gonna mess you up.
Show them up.
Can you see the Intimidator out there?
Yeah, buddy.
You see all the national titles on that thing? That's what we do. Yeah, it's beautiful. Here we go.
Nothing like it.
Yeah. You want to be a champion?
Thanks for showing everybody.
You want to be a champion, you come to LSU. That's what happens.
That's what's up, man. Listen, they got some great stuff going on right now. Jay is an absolute juggernaut. The kids love him. I've got a buddy that I've known since he was like 3. We're buddies now. Blake Money. He's a sophomore there. Yeah, he's from Northport, Florida. So we're really close. We communicate on a regular basis, and he absolutely loves the energy that's going on through that program right now. And they are going to be back on top. And world, watch out, because LSU is coming to your living room. That's what's happening. We're coming. So as much as I would love for this to be about LSU, this is really about Ryan Theriot. Ryan, I was talking to you a little bit about this before the show, but I wanted to let the listeners know this. Ryan Theriot was not only just a great baseball player and a great teammate and a great friend. He was somebody that would pick me up on a day-to-day basis because I wasn't mentally strong back then. And he did his best, and his pawpaw did as well, to rub some positivity off on me and to let me know that I could truly do it and that I had the talent. But back then I just didn't have it between the ears. Those 6 inches in between the ears was the most dangerous neighborhood I've ever had. And I never wanted to walk through that neighborhood alone again. Since then, I have perfected the mindset, and I wanted to have Ryan on because although there's amazing things about Ryan as an athlete, he was truly special. The biggest talent Ryan had from Jump Street was creating the reality that he wanted in his mind prior to things happening, and understanding that all the failures and all the adversity in between was just a part of the process. So I'd like for him to talk about his journey in the mindset and how it played a role in his life and his career. Yeah,
I think, and I'm fortunate to be able to talk to kids and kind of do something similar with the LSU athletes, not just baseball, but, football and basketball, the kids that are going to play at the next level. Traction has afforded me that opportunity to help these kids and kind of teach them and train them to be pros. And, you touched on something, Sean, that's super important. You have to see it and visualize it and understand what it is that you want. So often in life, we get caught in that rut of just repetitive, you wake up, you drink your coffee, whatever it is that you do, and then you go to work and it turns into Groundhog Day, and you really don't know what it is that you're working for, what you're trying to accomplish. In first grade, and I can remember the teacher's name, Joan Corona, Miss Corona, and we had career day at Broadmoor Elementary. And, the guy next to me wanted to be a fireman, and he had his poster and all this crap. And then the girl next to me said she wanted to be an astronaut, and I made fun of both of them because I was an asshole. And then I had my poster of Cal Ripken Jr. And I said, I'm going to play in the major leagues. And they all laughed and made fun of me. My dad, Randy, did something for me as a young child that I've done for mine. And I think every parent should do their best to do, but he loved my goal and my passion and my want, but he was very clear on the sacrifices I would have to make in order to achieve them. And, he told me, he said, are you okay not going to prom or the dances or the parties? Are you okay going to bed early and waking up, before the sun comes up? Are you okay, missing out on things? We can't go hunting in the fall because you need to, if this is what you want to do, you got to grind, dude. And if it's not what you want to do, that's okay. I still love you. But these are the sacrifices you have to make in order to achieve, what it is that you want to do. And so, man, he was very clear and upfront with those things for me as a child. And, so I knew what I had to do. It wasn't, LSU was a love for me, but LSU in reality was a means to the minor leagues, and AA was a means to AAA, and AAA was a means to the major leagues. And, at the end of the day, it was checking those boxes. And, and so identifying what it is, I think, Sean, really understanding what it is, and then working backwards. Same thing applies in business. Same thing applies in relationships. What is it that you want out of a relationship? And if you don't know the end goal, the end game, you're just spinning your freaking wheels, bro.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I always talk, and I'm the type of person people laugh at too, right? Because they ask me what I'm doing with my podcast. I'll hop on Zoom calls and people laugh at me because I have this microphone, or, I'm doing all this stuff on social media. And it's just like, I see a bigger picture. Here's what I'm going to be. And what I do is I find what that end goal is, and I reverse engineer. Right. And I know the sacrifices and or investments I need to make in myself in order to make this thing happen. Am I going to bed at, 10 o'clock now? No, I'm going to bed at 1 or 2 because I have to do that. I have to get this shit ready. Right. I have to be on for a Ryan Theriot. I can't come here with no energy. I can't come here with nothing to say or do. Right. I have to be so dialed in on what the end process is and embody that person right now that's going to create that result out there in the world. And I think that, that's exactly what you were able to do as a player at LSU. Yep. The one thing that I remember, one of the first things that I spoke to you about when I got to LSU was right after you guys won the 2000 World Series, is you were talking about visualization, right? And you saw that moment, that very moment of you crossing the plate in an in a Rios-esque fashion. Can you talk to our listeners about that, please?
Yeah, Coach Bertman was unique in the fact that he videoed everything. And so we would.
You hear the sad story all the time. A father or mother passes away and didn't have life insurance, and the family is left to deal with the debt and struggle without any financial help. That's where term life insurance comes in. It can help protect the family financially from those struggles if something unexpected were to happen to you or your spouse. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today for busy parents like you, all online, on your schedule, right from your couch. You can be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. If you got kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in low rates is now. Even if you have life insurance through your employer, it may not offer enough protection for your family, and it may not follow you if you leave your job. There's no risk. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. Join thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help their family. Apply in just minutes at meetfabric.com/TDS. Meetfabric.com/TDS. MEET fabric.com/TDS. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company. Not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
Watch these videos, all positive reinforcement, literally every day. And yeah, you're correct. There was a clip where Armando Rios, who was a guy that as a child, I watched him play at LSU. But there was a moment where he slid across home plate to win the College World Series, and he fires his helmet, over the netting into the stands. And you see it so often, but it doesn't like sink in, but it becomes a reality, in what you do. And I promise you, rounding third base, it was not going through my mind. Hey, fire your helmet in the stands like a moron, and it just it just happened. And if you side by side those two videos of Armando and then myself, it's the same thing. It's the slide, helmet off, chuck it in the stands, and I ended up befriending him when I was playing professionally, and we talked about that, and he loved it. But the visualization piece, I don't want to just talk about sports with it, because I believe it's easy in sports. It's easy for a kid, or not easy, it's easier for a kid or a young athlete to go, hey, I want to be Alex Bregman. He's 5'11", he's 190 pounds. I'm just as big as he is. I can do it. I can do what he does. That's easy because you can see it, you can touch it, it's tangible. The challenge that I had for about 4 or 5 years post-retirement was taking that same thought mindset into the business world, into your everyday work, into like the real world, not sports, but and I would watch people that would kind of spin their wheels, and then I'd watch others that are so uber successful, and they did what we're talking about. They had their dream and their vision, and what'd you call it? Reverse engineering. Mm-hmm. They reverse engineered back and went, okay, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. Okay, now how do I get there? Like, nobody wants to sit in a cubicle all day long and make, middle of the road salary and retire when they're, 65. And, that doesn't sound exciting to me. And I would say in a honest moment, it's probably not exciting to anybody. It's just what they settled for.
Yeah, man. Here's the other thing. That's like another topic, right? That is subscribing to a narrative that is placed on you as a child, right? We all go through these parts of reality, right? Where we're told that we have to graduate college and get a salary paying job. And at the end of the day, we get there and we're like, wait a second. Yeah, I'm following the narrative that was sold to me. This isn't my higher self. My higher self is doing X, Y, Z. There's a version of myself right fucking now living my reality. Now I got to go meet that motherfucker. And for me, you're right. This isn't just about sports. Sports is easy to sit there, easier, like you say, to sit there and visualize a fastball, coming in on you and turning and burning on that bitch. That's okay. That's cool, right? Because you've been through those moments many, many times. It is much more difficult to sit there and visualize and fight your subconscious during this visualization process, because there's going to be moments where your subconscious and all the shit that you've heard about yourself that you can't do something is going to start firing when you're looking to find that end goal. I think what's very, very special about people that are very successful, and you've done it with Traction and you're doing it with Hudco Roofing right now, is you're able to silence that thought, right? Because we're going to get random thoughts throughout the day. But really the secret sauce is, how are we choosing to think, right? That's the difference. So walk me through, because, how far after retirement did you build Traction?
So I spent every penny of my signing bonus on the dirt. So when I was in the minor leagues, I bought the dirt in the minor leagues, and Traction was my plan B. It was a dream that I'd had for a long time, helping kids in Baton Rouge, and I knew I could monetize it. Mm-hmm. And, John and I were engaged to be married, that first year out. And I just needed a backup plan, in case I didn't get to the show. I needed to know I could provide for her. And in an arena that I loved. And so I spent all my signing bonus. I've been broke before. Shit, I'll be broke again. Right. And so that was my plan B. And, I didn't focus all my energy on it, but I definitely focused a little bit on it, and it was something that I was growing as I was growing my baseball career. I'll say, it's kind of like a swing. I tell my hitters this all the time. I was actually having this discussion. Daniel Cabrera, who will be in the big leagues next year with the Tigers, great player. But I told Daniel, I said, it's very rare that you have your A swing every game. The great hitters, they have a B swing or even a C swing or approach that they can bring every AB. It may not be as aggressive. It may not be as powerful. It may not be, your best swing, but it's good enough. That's your plan B. Mm-hmm. The ones that struggle, they just have one plan, one swing, and that's it. And, you're going to face a Justin Verlander or, Walker Buehler, and he's going to get you out. Mm-hmm. There's nothing you can do about that, right? So you have to have a plan B, and the same thing applies in life, I think. And when you're talking about preparing for the future and that mindset, it's good to be prepared. An interesting thing going on right now, Frenchie, is the NIL stuff in college sports. Yeah. And so I'm fortunate to sit on a few boards, and we're doing some stuff with LSU baseball. And I brought this up the other day in one of our meetings. We were talking about, raising money for the kids. And, I mean, you can pay them now. It's the craziest thing in the world. Like,
Yeah.
you just give them the money. I mean, literally all they have to do is take a picture and you can give them $100,000 or $1 million. Like, so I told him, I said, there's something else in this that I think is important. I'm signing kids to NIL deals with HUDCO Roofing and Exteriors left and right. They are gaining real life experience from a business standpoint, contract negotiations, things that you and I didn't get in college, and it's preparing them for the next step, because the truth is they're not going to play in the major leagues. I mean, some of them maybe.
Right.
And so this is, although it's getting a lot of bad press, NIL, you're going to see kids that are prepared for the real world better than you and I were, because they've had these situations. I think preparation is super important. I mean, I really do.
Yeah, I think the public has a lot of opinions about NIL because they don't truly understand it and really truly understand behind the scenes of what's going on. And with anything, it's how we choose to deal with something and bring it to market. And what you're doing and what Coach Johnson's doing with LSU is we're taking a business approach to NIL and teaching these kids something and preparing them for life and business, because without that, they have to learn that out in the real world and get stepped on first and then learn the hard way. My one question was back to the launch pad of that initial question of visualizing going through business is, were there any points in time where you were seeing something on the movie screen of your mind, right? Your mind's conceiving it and you can see it. And then at one point during that meditation or that visualization, whatever you want to call it, right? Because it's all the same. Did that mind say, Ryan, hold on, bro. What are you doing? This isn't possible. Walk me through that.
I would say my blessing and my curse is that, I am a dreamer. I am an idea guy. If you looked it up, the definition in the dictionary, like that's my face. Like, I mean, it's with everything that I do, it's never good enough. And so I'm always going, okay, what if my business partners hate me, because it's honestly, it's nonstop. I'm like, hey bro, I got an idea. Call me, or whatever. When it's interesting that you asked that. I mean, and that's a good question. The answer is probably no.
It's amazing.
It's so weird. I'm trying to think of an instance where I was like, yeah, you're probably right. But no, man. I mean, I just always look for. I'm a big what if guy, and it's never no, you can't do it. It's okay. How do you figure it out? And I don't take no for an answer very well. And I'm pretty aggravating to people, I'm sure. I mean, but we took a batting cage. We took a youth sports facility that nobody makes money in that. And I'm not going to go into detail, but it's pretty damn profitable, and how did you do it? Well, we partnered with the largest sanctioning body in the world, in Perfect Game. We hired the best youth sports director on the planet, Brad Cressy.
Yes, absolutely.
We kept building fields. When everybody else said it was stupid. We have 12 turf fields. Now we have 17 turf fields. Now, okay, what next? Physical therapy. Why? Because I can bill insurance. Why is that important? Because I'm not asking the parent for money. Okay, we can scale therapy clinics. All right, let's go. Let's build them. And so it's the same thing with roofing. And I think my mind works in a manner like, okay, once I feel like I got it figured out, I'm moving on to the next one. I'm moving. And like I say, it's a blessing and a curse, because my biggest downfall, and this is just being honest, is I struggle seeing it through all the way. And I know that, and so what I have to do, Sean, is surround myself with people that are good at that. The operators, if I'm smart enough to go, okay, I need somebody, I've got a business partner with my construction stuff who's phenomenal. And he is detail oriented, and he is, by the book as they come. And I'm the complete opposite. I'm freaking all over the place, you know? And so with the relationship works. But no, man, I mean, I don't think there's anything I couldn't do, you know,
That's
if I really
amazing.
wanted to.
That's amazing because, you know, back then I had a lot of those limiting beliefs. Now I get caught up on the how, right? To me, like, and to me, if you were to ask me where I'm going to be in a year, I will sit there dead in your face and look at you and tell you, right, of where this is going, right? You know, I see myself on stage. I see myself in big programs. I see myself right next to you at Traction talking to LSU guys.
Sure.
I'm telling you, like, I mean, dude, like I see a ton of coaching clients. And so for me, that believability is there, right? I get caught up on the how, and the how, right, is the one thing that could really hinder us in getting there, right? Because what we need to realize, and this is why I come out and I tell people what I struggle with, because people need to realize that we're not perfect. We have these same things that go on. The how is not important. What's important is the intention, right? What are we putting out in the world? Like, what are we doing? Is what I'm doing right now at this moment with Ryan Theriot helping me? Is it helping kids? Is it helping Ryan? Is it helping people all over the world? The answer to me is undoubtedly yes.
Absolutely.
100% yes. Like, this is in alignment. This is in integrity. And I think what people need to realize is no matter what their goals are, whatever sacrifice or investment they have to make in themselves, they have to truly believe it, and they have to move for it every single day. If you're not getting out of bed and jumping at the opportunity to be your ultimate self, you are dying where you stand.
And let me tell you something. There are peaks and valleys.
Yep.
You know, and everybody goes through them. And if somebody sits in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, and says they haven't, they're a freaking liar. Everybody goes through the ups and the downs, the peaks, the valleys, the seasons of their life where everything's clicking on all cylinders, mentally, physically, relationships, the whole deal. And then there's peaks where it sucks. And I've gone through them. You've gone through them. We all have gone through them. And the good news is, if you stay the course and just weather the storm, you learn from that. It makes you stronger, right? Don't succumb to it. Don't start creating bad habits to get you out of it. It's okay. Everybody does it. You know, look, it was a few years ago, right, during the COVID stuff, which sucked for me. There was a lot of crap I couldn't do. There was a lot of uncertainty. Business was brutal. And that was a valley. And, you know, I think knowing that it was going to be okay. You know, my grandmother, she's passed away, but she used to always say that. She's like, you know, she said, it's going to all work out. It always does. You know, that was her thing. You know, it's going to all work out. It always does. And that's true. You know, I think for me, Sean, my relationship with God and spiritually was super important during those times, and understanding that I had something I could go to for answers. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Without self-medicating, without doing these things that people, I mean, listen, bro, it happens, you know? And so, yeah, man, the valleys are important. They are super important, because without the valleys, you can't have the peaks.
You can't. And I think it's super important when you're going through those valleys to understand and appreciate them. As hard as it is, right? It is something that is the hardest thing to do, is to appreciate when things aren't clicking on all cylinders in your business, in your game, in your relationship, maybe a marriage, right? Yep. Because we all go through seasons where all of those things suffer, because we're human beings. But to find the true appreciation and the opportunity to build strength to come out of that even better, I think is an opportunity that, you know, all too often that we underlook as human beings. So I'm with you on all of that, brother. And I think those are really, really good points, that you're not gonna be clicking on all cylinders at all times.
Right.
And we need to know that, right? And we need to prepare. We need to be ready to respond, not react. And I would imagine going through the farm system and into the big leagues is a lot like that. And I really, because I think this topic will take about 10, 15 minutes, and I know you got some things to do. So I do want to hit this. Like, walk me through that process, because once you get to double A, I mean, really the only separator is that 6 inches between the ears to the big.
Bro, I wanted to quit. Like, I had made up my mind in 2004 that I was done.
No shit.
John and I were married. She was pregnant with my first son, Houston. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't on the 40-man roster. I wasn't a prospect. I can remember calling my buddy Adam Greenberg and saying, Greeny, I think this is it, man. I don't think I'm coming to spring training this year. Yeah. I was at traction. And he goes, do it again. Do it one more year for you. Don't play for the Cubs. Don't play for anybody else. Play for you, your family and all those, and so I went back. This is a great story, but I went back to spring training that year, not on the roster, nothing. Like, I'm just a guy.
Just a guy.
And I was switch hitting at the time, which sucked. And it was brutal. And our farm director, I went to him, Oneri Fleeta, and I said, hey, Fleet, I think I just want to hit right-handed. Mm-hmm. He says, well, we don't see you as a prospect unless you're a switch hitter. I said, well, I'm not a prospect now, bro. Like, y'all don't see me as that now. So whatever. He goes, I'll make a deal with you. If you hit 300 all right-handed, I'll call you up to the major leagues. But if you don't, I'm releasing you and you'll never play baseball again. And so I shook his hand that spring training. I said, deal. Because what did I have to lose?
House money, bro. House money.
I was prepared to retire anyway. I got a hot wife who's pregnant. Yeah. I got this facility. Like, I'm good. And, bro, I hit 304 and he called me up to the show. Non-roster. Nobody knew who I was. Greg Maddux, true story, asked me if I was the bat boy when I walked in the clubhouse. I promise you. He goes, you're a little bit old to be a bat boy, aren't you? I said, oh, gosh.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so yes, I mean, it happened that fast to where I was prepared to give. And then the next year I'm the starting shortstop for the Cubs. And, 10 years later, I've got 2 rings and, it just happened that fast. So yeah, man, the valley of the minor leagues was as deep and dark as it could be. And, but without those moments, the major leagues would have meant nothing to me, and it wasn't about the money or any of that. It was about knowing that I really and truly had to grind to get there. And once you get there, it's even harder to stay. Everybody's trying to take your job every day. You got some guy from Puerto Rico that's throwing $1 billion and, but yeah, man, the grind of the minor leagues and that valley is a deep, dark one for sure.
Yeah. I mean, everybody talks about it, right? But very few people really go through it and prosper through it to make it to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment in your mind where, and I know your answer would be like, hell no, man, I wasn't satisfied. And I'm not even asking you to say that, but to a point to where you're like, you took a deep breath and you're like, all right, man, I've made it. I'm in a career here. I'm a big leaguer and this is where I belong. And this is where I'm going to stay. What was that moment like for you? And what did it feel like?
I mean, once it didn't take long, once I got out there and played a couple games and got a few hits and made a few plays, I'm like, okay, this isn't much different. My numbers were actually better in the major leagues than they were in the minor leagues.
Yeah. You were a lifetime 281 hitter in the big leagues.
In the minor leagues, I sucked, and so it didn't take long. I think, you face like, I remember Derek Lee telling me one day, he's like, bro, you can hit, man. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, my first year, I was like, huh, I always knew I could play defense,
dude. Yeah.
but the hitting thing, once he said that, I was like, okay, this is an all-star, he doesn't have to say that to me. But yeah, man, I mean, it didn't take long, bro. And then once you're there, once you belong, then it's like, all right, how do I get better? And how do I parlay this into 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, whatever. But yeah, man, it was a crazy journey, no doubt.
What were some of the favorite outside of the World Series championships? Because I'm going to get to that, right? Because I can tie that into everyday life for other people, right? What were some of your favorite moments?
The call up was awesome. Getting that call. I was in AA and so I got called up from AA. So that, Jonna was due to have, actually Houston was born a month and a half before that. So, so that was cool. The World Series is great. Getting through arbitration, off of your rookie contract is important. Then you're kind of a guy at that point. The World Series, you can't beat that, but just the bonds and relationships you form too along the way. Being able to come back and talk to these LSU kids about the journey, is a cool thing for me that I can continue to capitalize on.
That's pretty awesome, man. The one thing that I really like about you, and I always have, is you've always been about other people. And, you just told the whole world yet again who you are as a person. And that comes from great parents and great grandparents who I know personally. So I know what that family structure looks like. I know the Terrios. And, the big thing is you ended it with, I get to come back and talk to these boys at LSU. It wasn't about anything else. It was about him being successful in his career so he can continue to make an impact in college baseball and in youth baseball. And dude, like that's my favorite thing about you.
Well, the biggest gift, and I didn't know it was a gift when I was going through it. I realized later on in my career, and post career too, the biggest gift that I was ever given was the ability to affect millions of lives on a daily basis in a positive manner. And when you're in the heat of the moment, when you're in the battle, you don't realize that. My dad, Randy, actually said that one day. He's like, "Why are you so pissed off?" He was in Chicago. "Why are you so pissed off?" I'm like, "Because I suck." He's like, "Bro, if you go make a play or get some knocks, you'll make millions of people smile. What other job in the world can do that?" And so we take that for granted when we're in the heat of the moment. Dude, I tell these kids that every day. I'm like, "Bro, y'all don't understand. You don't even have to do good. Just when the camera's on, you make a funny face, do something." That's the gift. And I took that for granted. I never will again. And I'm sure to pass that along to all these kids. It's great, Dylan Cruz, to be the best player in the world. And you are. Yeah. You're a really nice player.
He is. Yes.
But man, can you imagine the lives you can affect in a positive manner in the next 15 years of your life? Holy crap. What a blessing, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's something that I really overlooked while I was at LSU.
Yeah.
Right.
We all did.
We all did, especially, somebody like me who didn't really reach the potential of what I felt I could have been. And I look back at it now, going out there and, Aaron, the little Aaron, he was dancing and then you have Bridget and all these other, Miss Marquita and all these other people that had such amazing impacts in our lives, and we were able to impact them. And it was something that I took for granted then, and I will never take that. I didn't take them for granted. I took the experience for granted.
Sure.
And ultimately it hurt me, right, at that level. But the one thing that it did is it turned me into the human being I am now. And I can go back, and now I can give back to kids at the college level and say, "Hey, listen, I've been here. I've been at LSU. And someone in this room right now is feeling like this. I'm here to tell you it's not going to serve you."
That's right.
And here's how we get through it. So, to close out, you were able to win not just a national championship, but 2 World Series championships. It's the ultimate. It's the pinnacle, right? Everybody wants to do it. Every kid grows up, simulating a 3-2 count, bottom of 9, bases loaded, walk-off hit to win the World Series. You've won 3 big championships. Talk to us about that feeling and the grittiness that it takes to achieve something like that.
It doesn't have anything to do with, excuse me, I take that back. It has a little bit to do with the team, the talent. it has more to do with the relationships in the clubhouse and the way that the people get along. I think that is the most important thing. I think culture, winning in St. Louis and San Francisco and LSU. I think the culture in those three clubhouses were all the same. I think the players trusted each other. We trusted ownership. We trusted management. We trusted the coaches. The one similarity in all three of those teams was that. And we loved each other. We wanted each other to succeed more than we wanted ourselves to succeed. And I've been on more talented teams. Chicago in 07 and 08 was the best.
Yeah.
We had number one offense and defense in baseball and best pitching staff, but we couldn't win. And so, culture is so, so important. How do you create it? What do you do to create it? How do you maintain it? That's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And you have to have a mixture of superstars and class clowns and dudes that beat everybody up. And then guys that'll put their arm around you and tell you they love you and how great you are. I mean, you got to have that mixture. It's like making a gumbo, dude. And that's the question. I mean, how do you do it? Some people have figured it out. Nick Saban's figured it out. Steve Bertman figured it out. And so that's the one similarity, Sean. And the whole thing, it starts at the top. It truly does. Your leader is the most important part of that. The Tony La Russa's of the world, the Bruce Bochy's, the Skip Bertmans, the Nick Sabans, like I said, those are the ones, man. You want to have a cool guest on, get one of those guys, and in an honest moment after a few brown waters, let them tell you what it is, because I'll say it's the class clowns.
Yeah. People keep it loose.
Make everybody laugh.
Yeah. You were that clown. I can't talk about it on the air.
Oh my God, dude!
But
I mean, stupidest crap you've ever seen. Absolutely.
Oh dude,
yeah,
the best.
And people
loved it,
and they loved it because it's so serious, dude. It's like it's not that serious, man. Laugh at yourself. Do something stupid, But no, man, that's the secret sauce. And but it's not just in sports. I think it's in business too. When I construct a team of, and from a business standpoint, I look for that too. And you can't just have a team full of all-stars, man. You got to have all kind of different personalities. So I've got literally 1% left.
Okay, so let's do this. Guys, listen up here. I want you guys to understand something. You had an opportunity to listen to one of the best in Ryan Theriot, one of the best human beings, best baseball players I ever had the opportunity to play with. Ryan, thank you again. The listeners are going to love this episode. Hang out for a second, please. I want to say something to you before I hop off. We're out, guys. Share this episode with all your friends. That's how we're growing right now. Before I start to bug you with all of the ads from Traction Performance and Hudco Roofing, don't worry, we'll get them on. So anyway, guys, love you all. Have a good one.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.